What's going on? Coach Paul here, and in this video I'm going to break down the push-up. I'm going to show you the 3 most common mistakes that I see either clients making or people at the gym making. I'm going to give you 3 mental cues that you can use to make sure that you are executing the push-up movement as well as possible. And then I'm going to give you 3 modifications that you can make if there are different limitations you have with strength, mobility, maybe pain that you're working around, so that you can still utilize this exercise effectively. So let's break down these mistakes. First mistake that I see people making is going to be not maintaining a neutral spine. So with that, you could say, if we get into the top push-up position, a neutral spine is going to be just as if you were standing and your neutral spine was here. I get to here, I just extend my legs, and now that's where I'd want to be. So you can almost think of it as, all right, I want to breathe in, maintain that tension, and just like you're holding a really good plank, you're gonna wanna make sure that your butt's up, that it's not sagging, that you're not sagging here, that your neck's not looking up, knees aren't linking. Boom, boom, boom. All right, so all the way from the top of your head to your heel should be no different than, I don't know if the camera can see this, if you're standing. And so when you're standing and when you're doing a push-up, it's the exact same spinal position. So again, the first mistake that I see people making is losing that spinal integrity. Typically it's going to be because muscles aren't engaged. It might be the quads, might be the core, might be different parts within the shoulder, might be the neck, and you might just not know. And so now you're watching this, now you know everything's got to be in one position. So again, to reiterate, it's not head up, it's not scapular retracted, low back here, knees here, get it all up into one. Now when we get into modifications, I'll talk through, if you don't have that strength, what you can do. But again, first mistake I see people making is not having that neutral spine. Next one is I'll see people not getting all the way protracted, retracted. Instead, they stay in here. And you might be thinking, oh, well, Paul, what's the issue with that? I'm trying to bust out push-ups, trying to get as many as I can. Well, if you don't use it from a joint standpoint, you're gonna lose it. So if you run into any shoulder mobility issues, it's because at some point you either had a very serious injury that didn't allow you to utilize that mobility and that range of motion, or you stopped training it. And one of the best ways to stop training protraction, retraction is to not fully protract and to not fully retract. If you're not fully protracting, you're not using your serratus, you're not getting your scapula, big bone here, to wrap around the rib cage. And so then when you go to do other pushing variations and exercises, you haven't trained those as well as you could. So a push-up is all the way locked out, all the way brought in. It's no different than you're on a bench press, right? Dumbbells or bench. You don't just go here and just go here. Maybe you do, but you want to go all the way and bring it back in. So I'm gonna call that 2 mistakes. There's one more within the push-up that I want to come back to from just a neutral alignment standpoint, and it's the idea of where you hinge. In a push-up, your ankle is gonna be the hinge point. So that means you get up here, boom, up. It's not hinge in the low back, and this is again tied to the neutral spine, but it's just something I thought of. It's not hinging in the lower back. It's not lowering down in your upper body. This at the ankle joint is the constant. And so you are coming down and you are coming back up. It's not down, it's not down, it's boom and back up. So just one other thing to add after that second mistake, just from a protraction, retraction standpoint. The next one is gonna be positioning of really the shoulders and the angle at which you're pushing with your elbows. This is a tricep push-up. This is about 45 degrees, 60, 45 degrees is where you wanna be. This is pain city. This is trap pain. This is shoulder surgery city. Those are things that you want to avoid. So as you're going in and doing this push-up, if you find yourself in this, get that shoulder pulled down, rotate those elbows so that they're coming at a little bit more of a 45-degree angle. So you're coming in here. Can you do narrow tricep push-ups? Sure, but again, that's gonna be something from a tricep standpoint that you gotta make sure that you have the strength to do. And if that's what you're intentionally trying to do, then yeah, absolutely go and do that. But you'll also run into some elbow issues if you don't have the strength for that. So as you're going in and doing this push-up, down, up, boom, boom. You should be able to feel your lats. You should be able to feel shoulder pulled down, everything in the rear shoulder stabilizers, the teres, all engaged. Now you've got your shoulder in a position to where it can be strong and where you can be safe. So I've given you kind of some cues within those mistakes. And so let's get into the 3 cues I want to make sure that you have. First one is elbow positioning. 60, 45 degrees is going to be the optimal joint angle for that push-up. It's where you're going to be strongest. It's where you're going to be safest. Next, just think everything being engaged. Just like an elbow plank in a push-up, you should be creating tension here, here. I mean, if you can create it in your front of your shin, your tibia, absolutely do that. But everything should be active, everything should be engaged. So think of everything as being one cohesive unit, and then you are going into a push-up from a movement standpoint with everything that is stabilizing your spine engaged there. All right, so that's 2 cues. The last cue that I'll give you is just to really emphasize a really active protraction and a really controlled retraction. Protraction, really active. And as you're doing that, again, coming back to the whole feeling everything engaged, when you get all the way here, try and feel your lats, try and feel your serratus coming around and being engaged. Your chest should be getting work. You should definitely be feeling that, yes, but there are so much more muscles, so many more muscles, so much more musculature around the entire region that is being active in a push-up that should be engaged, that should be working. So make sure that you're thinking about those as you're going and executing this movement. All right, and to wrap it up, I'm gonna give you 3 different modifications that you can utilize, whether it is pain that's the issue, mobility that's the issue, or something else that's preventing you. Strength would be another one that is preventing you from just doing a regular full body push-up. So first one is going to be elevating you, whether that is an elevated regular push-up or elevated knee push-up. This is going to reduce the mechanical disadvantage that you're at and increase the ability for you to be stronger in this position. So if I'm here, this is going to be easier. If I'm here, this is going to be easier. This is also something that's great for just changing the angle of how your shoulder's moving. So sometimes I'll program either these yoga push-ups or something to get a little bit more upward rotation in that push-up. But if strength's an issue, boom, come in, utilize that. Now wrists, that extension of the wrist for a lot of people can be an issue. So this is where you can either go into these. So these would be just fists and pushing up from this position. Hopefully I don't hit my head. Bam, pushing up here from those knuckles. The other thing you can do is elevate your wrists. So instead of having to be here, you would be here. So an example of that would be having maybe a yoga block or having some sort of piece of equipment that allows you to now change the angle of your push-up. Bam. Now you're gonna have less of a need for that extension just because you've given yourself, again, a little bit more of a mechanical advantage. All right, so that's 3 different modifications that you can make for your push-ups. You can either make it a little bit easier with an incline or with a kneeling push-up. You can go and utilize a block or something to change the angle for your wrists, or you can go and make a fist so that you're not having to essentially create that extension. Outside of that, let me know if you got any questions in the comments for the push-ups. If you enjoyed this content, be sure and share it, like it, subscribe, comment, all of that good stuff. Ding the bell for notifications so that you know when more videos drop and come out. If you want to learn more about the E4Fit program and how I apply these training principles, bake them into something that is completely custom for you, along with doing your nutrition for you, recovery, and mindfulness protocols, that's all going to be below in the description as well. You can click the link there. Check out the FAQs, check out the video overview of the program, and then you can click the link to book a call. I'm more than happy to talk you through how this program could help you ultimately transform your body into something that's lean, athletic, and something that you're proud of.